Hey, it's Ian Altman. With about 450 members on LinkedIn, it's a great place to connect to other people. In fact, I often say that in today's world with LinkedIn, the notion of making cold calls to people really should be a thing of the past. And we should get smarter about how we use LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, like all other great things, is a platform that sales and marketing often figures out how to ruin and how to totally destroy it and make it not good. And here are some of the things that I see people do that make LinkedIn not so good. And I'll give you specific steps on things that you can do to make your connections on LinkedIn more meaningful so that maybe you'll help LinkedIn rather than make it worse. So with thousands of followers and thousands of connections on LinkedIn, I very often get people reaching out to me. And I usually get a message that sounds something like this that says, oh, I see that we share many connections in common, and so I'd like to connect here on LinkedIn. And I used to just accept these connections. And guess what happened within 30 seconds of accepting that connection? I get this long email or long LinkedIn message that basically says, oh, let me tell you about all this great stuff that we sell and that we do, and check out this and check out this, and sign up for my X and sign up for my Y. And then guess what? Within a week, I'm signed up on their newsletter because they're grabbing my email address. And there's somebody who's teaching people that this is a good idea. And it isn't. And here's why. None of us likes to feel like we're being sold to. And since we don't like being sold to, when the moment you make a connection with somebody, you immediately come up with some sort of a pitch, it turns us off and we repel everything that happens. In fact, very often when I get those connections, I disconnect from those people and then block any of their messages and spam. Because I think to myself, this is not the type of person I want to work with or the type of person I want to engage with in doing any sort of business. See, think of it metaphorically. It's kind of like walking into a networking event and you meet somebody and you say, oh, hi, Steve, nice to meet you. Let me show you all the stuff that we have. Can I sign you up for our email list? Give me your business card and I'll add you to this thing. I'll spam you every week. It's a terrible thing to do. So you need to realize that when you take steps like that, you're not attracting anybody, you're actually pushing away your ideal clients. In fact, you've probably done some sort of research. Now, some of the mistakes I see are people who outsource their connections on LinkedIn. Oh, do me a favor, hey, use this list and go out there and connect to anybody who meets this profile. And they send blank connections. All it says is, someone says, invited you to connect on LinkedIn. Now, for starters, never send a blank invitation on LinkedIn. Because I will tell you that when I receive those, I just ignore them. Because it tells me the person on the other end spent zero time researching me and spent zero time trying to connect to me. They're just trying to connect to anybody with a pulse. So instead, personalize your invitation. Now, on your smartphone, you'll see that there's an area where there's kind of a ... when you bring up somebody's profile, and you can personalize the invite. And on the browser in your computer, it's very easy to personalize the invitation. But the idea is you always want to personalize the invitation. And my suggestion is find a couple areas that are of mutual interest and say, look, I notice you're also involved in this and that. I'd like to connect with other like-minded people. And then once they connect, try reaching out to them and say, hey, thanks so much for accepting my connection. What are the top things that you're working on that I might be able to help with? Are there people in my network you'd like to connect with? Are there areas of business that I'm involved in that are of interest to you where I might be able to help? See, you want to offer to help them first, and then they're going to see it's actually a genuine connection. Now, this can't be some devious tactic. This can't be something like, well, do this, and then you can go give your pitch. The idea of LinkedIn is to actually genuinely connect with other people. My friend Derek Coburn wrote a book called Networking is Not Working. Wildly successful best-selling book. And the idea of networking is not working is that you want to connect in a deep, meaningful way with other people, and the best way to do that is talk to them about how you can help them rather than how they can help you. Because once people get to know you and they understand the problems that you solve for other people, they'll naturally connect you to others. And that's just the way it works. Now, another great way to use LinkedIn is when it comes to the area of recruiting. So nowadays, it's getting harder and harder to find personnel, and LinkedIn gives us a way to sift through based on people's profiles to find just the right candidate that might be a fit for your business. So if you use LinkedIn for recruiting, then it gives you the ability to search based on geography, based on their expertise, based on their endorsements they've received. And now you can get down to candidates who you say, you know what, this looks like somebody who's a great fit. But remember, nobody likes to be sold to. So if you pitch them and say, hey, I'd love for you to consider our job, they're probably going to not like that and say, well, I don't want to work for a place that's chasing me. Instead, you might reach out to them and say, hey, I see you're in this field. We have this exciting opportunity. Do you know of one or two people who might find this interesting? And they might say, yeah, I do. Or they might say, a friend of mine does. But either way, you'll probably get a connection to somebody who might be a good fit. And that's an interesting way to approach the sales side as well. Instead of reaching out to somebody and saying, hey, do you want to buy our stuff? What if instead you reach out to somebody and say, hey, I see you're in this field, and you probably don't have a need for what we do, but can you think of one or two other people who might be facing one of these problems where we might be able to help? And those people might say, yeah, you know what? I'm one of those people. I actually have that issue. So when it comes to LinkedIn, don't make it worse, make it better. Don't reach out and spam people to death. Don't add people to an email list just because they accepted your LinkedIn connection. And don't pitch them the moment they've connected to you. My friend Ron Tite refers to that as being pitch slapped. And so we don't want to slap people with pitches every single moment. So instead, build those deep, meaningful connections. Never send the generic message, always personalize it, and always strive to help others. And when there is an opportunity for potential business, start by asking, do you know of one or two other people who might benefit from this? Instead of pitching exactly what you have to them and saying, hey, do you want to buy it from me? If you have any more questions about this, just visit ianaltman.com. Remember, this show gets a direction from you, the listener. If there's a topic you think I should cover or a guest I should have on the program, just drop me a note to ian@ianaltman.com. Have an amazing week, add value, and grow revenue in a way everybody can embrace, especially your customers.